Hello, class. This is Demetrius Wilson with Business 100. We are now on to Chapter 4. We're going to discuss business ownership, a few different types of specific business ownership, organizational options. We have a sole proprietorship, a partnership, corporation, and then, as they have it listed, a hybrid LLC or a LLP, which is a limited liability corporation or a limited liability partnership. And you see right here, they have all these different possibilities, and there are many different possibilities, and none of these business options is necessarily correct. It's just what's best for you. So each type of business has its own set of risk and rewards and cost and benefits as everything else. And we looked at chapter 3. All options have advantages and disadvantages. Picking the best type depends on the nature of the business opportunity and the level of personal exposure to risk the owner is willing to accept. So if you're in a sole prop, you're willing to accept all of the risk. If you're in a corporation, the risk is a little bit more limited. So considerations in choosing an organizational type. You have the cost of startup, right? How much money does it cost to get into business? Control versus responsibility, right? Are you in control? How responsible are you? Some people, like including myself, I would prefer more control. Do you want to share the profits, right? Some of us may be more selfish and want to keep all of the profits, and others say, hey, it's enough to go around. How you're taxed, entrepreneurial ability, risk tolerance, right? How much risk are you willing to take? Or are you risk averse? Financing, the ability to finance and what other options you have. And continuity and transferability. Can you sell it easily or can you not? Does it take a long time to get your money out? Sole proprietorships are owned and run by one person. So if you own a hot dog stand, that's probably a sole proprietorship. Simplest and most common legal structure for a business. What are the advantages? It's easy and inexpensive to form. A single owner has complete control over all of the decisions and easy tax preparation. What are the disadvantages? Unlimited personal liability for the sole proprietor, so they can come take your house, your car, or your jewelry. It can be difficult to raise money. You have to get the money either out of your bank account or from family or friends. And a single owner takes all the responsibility for the business operations and finances, right? So it's all on you. Partnership. So now at least you have two people. Partnerships are businesses in which two or more people share ownership and responsibility. There are two types of partnerships, general partnership and limited partnership, also known as a limited liability partnership. So before you even go to the next slide, let me give you a brief overview of general partnership. One person has the same type of liability, just like in the sole prop. And a limited partnership, one person is a general partner that has all that liability, but either one or more people are limited partners, and they don't have a lot of liability or risk involved in the business relationship. So what are the advantages of partnerships? Easy and inexpensive to form, just like a sole proprietorship. Shared financial commitment among partners, right? So we can spread the peanut butter on the bread a little bit more evenly. Utilize expertise of each partner, right? I know how to do accounting and finance. You know how to do marketing and sales. And partnership incentive opportunities for employees. Disadvantages of partnership. Partners retain full liability of the business. Disagreements among partners can occur. We're never going to be on the same page 100%, even if you're twins. Profits shared among partners, right? So disadvantage mean made 100,000, I only get 50 and you only get 50. Corporations account for the majority of the revenue from businesses in the United States. So not the majority necessarily of the businesses, but the majority of the revenue. They are the most complex type of organization to start and maintain, and they are not, right? You see it all in caps, the most common form of business ownership. You have three types of corporations: a C Corp, S Corp, and a B Corporation. C corporations, independent legal entities owned by shareholders, pay income tax on their profits. Dividends appear on the shareholders' personal tax returns and are subject to taxation. And income is distributed as a salary or other compensation is a deduction for the actual corporation. So what are the advantages of having a C Corp? Provide shareholders limited liability and debts and actions, right? So the liability is the main thing. So we have limited liability, limited debt, and that's one of the main reasons why people embark upon a C Corp. Able to generate capital through sale of stocks, right? So we sell some stocks, generate some money, invest it wisely, probably into technology and infrastructure. Profits outside of salary, bonuses, and dividends are often taxed at a lower rate than personal taxes, and attractive to potential employees due to ability to provide employee benefits and stock options. That's always, the company's going to skyrocket and blow up from there. That's always an attractive feature. What are the disadvantages? Time consuming and costly to start, as they said with all corporations. Taxed twice in some cases, so you want to look up double taxation in the chapter. When the company makes a profit and when dividends are paid to the shareholders, right? So you get double taxation. And additional paperwork and record keeping required by the state and federal government, so you better have your paperwork in order. S corporations are special type of corporation created through IRS tax election. Profits and losses can pass through your personal tax return, right? So a lot of times people don't understand that, some of these corporate setups, they actually go through your personal tax returns just like a sole proprietorship. The business is not taxed. Instead, only the shareholders are taxed, right? So there's no double taxation there. Only the shareholders get taxed through their personal tax. Advantages of S Corps, tax savings, business expense tax credits, and clear lines definition between the shareholders and the business that improve the protection of the shareholders. So we know there's a line right down the middle that says this is how the person is going to get taxed, and this is what goes on with the business. There's a clear line right down the middle. What's a disadvantage of an S corp? Stricter operational processes, right? So it's like clearly defined. These are the things you can and cannot do, and shareholder compensation requirements. Benefits of a B corporation, type of for-profit corporate entity authorized by 30 United States and the District of Columbia that includes positive impact on society, workers, the community, and the environment. So differ from traditional C corporations in purpose of accountability, right? Like we hold ourselves and our employees accountable for our actions and what we do and what we affect. And transparency, letting people know this is what we do, but not in taxation, right? And accountability and transparency are really big, things that people are really looking at these days. Advantages of B Corps, gives companies more options and protections if they decide to sell the business to someone else or take it public, right? So you have, a lot more options there as opposed to the others. Allow companies to stand as a business with a standard they consider higher than maximizing profits for shareholders. So making money is not the only thing that's important. Sustainability, treating the environment well, those things are important. May create value via employee engagement and customer loyalty, right? Because I'm interested in, saving the environment and, and being socially responsible. So I'm going to continue to purchase from this company because that's what they do and that's what they believe in. Disadvantages of B Corps, transparency and reporting requirements. So if you want to be transparent, you want to report everything, there are requirements there. Annual fees to retain certified B Corp status. So you want to remain in that status. There are annual fees that need to be paid as well. And compliance and governance obligations. Franchising, we talked about that in chapter 3. Talked about McDonald's, Baskin-Robbins, Subway. A franchise is a business model that involves one business owner, the franchisor, licensing trademarks and methods to an independent entrepreneur, which is the franchisee. That would be like us. Franchisor is a company like Subway or McDonald's, a corporation, for a prescribed period of time. So it's a great way to get into a business and kind of take out or carve out how much risk you're going to see because you know that Subway works. You know that McDonald's works. You know you're going to have a customer base. It's not Demetrius's Hamburger Shack where people don't know if the burger is going to be good or not. Advantages and disadvantages for franchises or the franchisor. Advantages, access to capital for growth and expansion. So you get money as franchise fees from all these franchisees, and then you can use it to build the company. Cash flow for operations and economies of scale. Disadvantages, you lack control because you don't know, like I said last chapter, not 100% sure what somebody's doing there. Trade secrets, you're letting the trade secrets, the secret sauce on the Big Mac out. And overexposure, you're open to a lot of exposure and people trying to copy your business model. Advantages and disadvantages for the franchisee. So advantages, you have less risk, of course, because people are going to buy Subway, especially on a diet. People are going to buy McDonald's, especially parents have screaming kids in the back. You have name and brand recognition. We always know who it is. Access to expertise, ongoing support. And relative autonomy. I mean, you can still run your business even though you're paying this franchise fee. Disadvantages is cost because you have to pay the actual fee and you don't get all the profit. Unequal partnership. because they're kind of controlling the cards on the table. Rules and enforcement, and purchasing a franchise doesn't guarantee success. You still have to work hard and put a lot into the business. A merger is a consolidation of two companies that prior to the merger were operating as independent entities. Mergers usually creates one larger company, and one of the original companies cease to exist, right? So two companies come together, Compact and Hewlett-Packard, and now we're only going to be Hewlett-Packard. Two types of mergers. You have a horizontal merger and a vertical merger. Horizontal merger occurs between companies in the same industry, right? So computers, Dell, and Microsoft, right? Well, not Dell and Microsoft, Dell and Acer, they merge. A vertical merger is characterized by the merger of two organizations that have a buyer-seller relationship, or two or more firms that are operating at different levels within the industry supply chain, right? So the people selling aluminum cans and the people selling Coke, they merge as one company. Acquisitions. An acquisition occurs when a company purchases assets of another business, such as stock, property, plant, equipment, and usually permits the acquired company to continue operating as is or prior to the acquisition. So, for instance, I used to work for a company called Savin. Rico purchased them, another copier company. They were from Korea, I believe, and they allowed Savin to continue to keep their name and keep the business that they were doing specifically within the education industry, and they didn't change anything for some time. And that's it for chapter 4. So make sure that you are properly reviewing the lecture, because a lot of those things will be on the quiz for the week, and properly reading the chapter, because that will enhance your knowledge and what you've seen in the lecture, and will give you a more thorough view of chapter 4. Be sure to complete your quiz and any other homework assignment or anything else that is due for the chapter. So that's it for chapter 4. You should have watched chapter 3 right before this one. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to shoot me an email. Other than that, I want you guys to all have a good day and a great week.